This is Mark Bell from SuperTraining.tv, Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West, with another edition of the Power Project coming at you with the coach's eye. This is a 585-pound deadlift with 150 pounds of bands and 100 pounds of chains. You can do the math on that, but this is one heavy mother. And you're going to see a breakdown by the people's coach right here as I go to pull this weight. Watch how bad I get yanked out of position. Whoa, not too horrible, but what happens at the bottom, the way that you start, is oftentimes the way that you finish. So the way that you start is the way that you finish. My hips get taken away from me in the beginning. My hips get taken away from me in the beginning. Right here. Hips are taken away. Hips are high. Shoulders are forward. Even more importantly than the hips being high is the fact that my shoulders have now kind of lowered, so the two have kind of met each other, and now I got to kind of stiff leg this thing a little bit. So I lost my hips in the beginning; they got taken away from me, and now I have to try to figure out how to get my hips back involved in the lift. And the only way I can do that is to kind of use my upper body and to flex my butt as hard as I can. And so you can see I get stuck here really bad, but I was able to pop my chest back up. Had I kept my chest in the position that it's in right now from the floor, the lift would have been a lot more efficient, and hopefully it would have went a lot easier. And you can see as I squeak it into the lockout there, it was a very tough lockout, but I was able to lock it out, get everything fully extended. My grip has improved quite a bit, so those of you who have lockout problems, it might manifest itself in the grip quite a bit. So we'll slow-mo this thing a little bit. Let me get it going here first, because I take forever to set up. We'll slow-mo it down a little bit. We'll try to break it down for you a little bit. Here we go in slow-mo. Got screwed over from the bottom. Let me point out what I needed to do here for you guys. Even though you faithful of the Power Project Army probably already knows what I'm about to say. But let's take a look at the dome. The dome is very important. 14 shots to the dome. Remember that? LL Cool J, back in the day, he did an album called 14 Shots to the Dome. Whatever. You guys don't remember. Anyway, I need to push my chin. Let's see. I wish I could kind of magnify. That would be a cool app. But I need to push my chin back more. Kind of almost like, I don't want to say down, but almost back and down quite a bit to change my head positioning. That would change the hips. If I had video of some of the earlier sets, you would see what I'm talking about more. And see how I tried to pop my head up there. My chest is kind of up. But really, a lot of this is messed up more than it should be. The hips should be a little bit lower. What I like to see from people who do sumo deadlifting is to be able to see their belt. And you can see, it's hard to see my belt. Also, I like the belt and the elbow crease or bicep to have a good relationship to each other. And here is not too bad, but my belt is pushed way back behind me. And you can see that all that gets screwed up. So think about that when you're pulling. I mean, that might make some of you squat down too low, but that's just something I like to see from people. If I'm looking at you from the front, I like to kind of give you a cue of like, show me your belt. You know, you try to squat down enough to where you can see the guy's belt pretty good, and also they have their kind of their hip angle in such a fashion that they're driving their knees out extremely hard to the point where you can see their belt and they're more upright. So on this last pull, because the one before it was difficult, I went with a little wider stance. And I'm still playing around with that. You know, after powerlifting for 9,000 years, you figure I would have come up with some sort of idea of how I should be pulling. But due to the fact that I'm limited on the way that I can force my knees out, kind of just end up lead to believe the fact that I can use my lower back. My lower back is fairly strong, but I don't do the greatest job of forcing my knees outward. And so if my feet were in a little bit more, maybe I could get my knees out a little bit better, and maybe it would create a little bit better leverage to the point where this was a little straighter, and that being straighter would make this area shorter. Whoops, that was jacked. Make that area shorter, make the quad shorter almost, because then the quad would be at a different angle. You would be out further. The cue that I give to people all the time is to swallow up the bar with your legs. So here, that's what I'm trying to do. As I sit back, I'm trying to swallow the bar up with my legs. Another cue that's very common for sumo deadlift is to kind of spread the floor apart with your feet, and that's something I clearly didn't do here. So basically, the moral of this story is weights are heavy. Everyone's going to fall apart. Even the best of the best. Even Ed Cohn, watch some of his biggest lifts. Clearly he gets rounded over and all kinds of things happen. But the point is to always get better, to always realize that you can move faster, and there's always a better way. And you got to find that better way, and you got to work towards it. Had the suit jacked on pretty tight, the straps, but because I lost weight, when I go to squat down, there's not as much suit there. So that's another reason that's another excuse that I'm going to use for the day. But anyway, this is a good strong pull by me. This is a PR from last time I tried the same exercise by about 40 pounds, I think. And I'm real happy with the way the grip is going. We'll show it one more time for you. Get rounded over. Yay, that hurt like hell. And that is it from supertraining.tv.